if you own a business that's already making a few $1 million a year, you have clients coming in from multiple channels, and you don't have any sort of attribution tracking in place, then chances are you are losing an enormous amount of money on an annual basis because of it. In all my fractional CMO deals, this is one of the top problems I end up fixing right away. So in this video here today, I want to give you 4 really quick solutions that you can use to make sure your attribution is good, know where your clients are coming from, know what's actually getting results, what's actually driving revenue for your business, so you're not allocating your hard-earned money to the wrong places. So I'm going to go ahead, share my screen. Let's walk through each of these individually. So number one, first and foremost, this is the easiest place to start, hands down. This takes honestly like 5 minutes at most. So I see a lot of business owners who have all of their funnels running. Basically they just have one main funnel and all of the traffic sources are leading into it. They're running Facebook ads, they're running email, IG organic, YouTube ads, YouTube organic, whatever it is. All of these traffic sources have the exact same link. They're all being sent to the exact same funnel. This makes attribution very difficult. You want to duplicate out each of these funnels so that you have them separate. So you're using a completely separate funnel for each of these. You don't have to make the content of the funnel any different. It just has to be a different link in this case. So I have different funnels for all of these channels here. Basically every channel that is a traffic source that's booking calls, generating revenue, whatever it is, I will duplicate that out. So this is super easy to do. Literally just click the duplicate button on your funnel. The one thing you have to make sure you do though is with this, just make sure anytime you make a change to the funnel, you reflect it in all of these. Otherwise, you're going to have some major nightmares for your sales team, which you don't want to deal with. So that's where you start. Next, you want to get UTM parameters set up on pretty much everything you've got here. It's like for these, I'll have UTMs on each of these, but they'll also be broken down individually. It's like, yes, there are UTMs on Facebook ads, but it's by individual ad, so we'll have different UTMs for ad 1, ad 2, ad 3, creative 1, creative 2, creative 3. If you have different banner scripts on an ad, for example, like I have it set up so there's UTM parameters on each of these. On email, we'll have this set up so it's like you can tell which email is contributing. Like if we have, say, broadcast email from July 26th, 2024, I'll have that date on there. If it's a broadcast email, if it's an automation email, just so we can differentiate like what is, where are the calls, where's the revenue actually coming from. And, I go through each of these. So we have UTM parameters on pretty much all of these individual ones. That'll really help you to see, where things are coming from. Which ultimately leads me to my next point, where you're going to be interpreting those UTMs. This is kind of, I don't know why this is controversial, but I think it has to be said. Just get Hyros. It's honestly like the best software in my opinion for this. This isn't for like e-commerce, but if you are selling any kind of higher ticket model, selling over the phone, larger price points, I see a lot of businesses that try to take like a custom tracking solution. They'll, get a VA, they'll get Google Sheets, kind of piece it all together with Zapier. Most of the time it doesn't really work. I've seen it work a couple times for really big companies, like a couple of companies I've worked with that hit like $40 to $50 million a year in revenue, and they'll hire like a real developer and stuff, and make it good. But those are kind of the exception, not the norm. I'd say 95% of the time, the custom tracking solutions don't work. If you're like less than $10 million a year in revenue, I highly recommend just get Hyros. It's solid. It's not the easiest to set up. It's a little expensive, not gonna lie, but it will get the job done for sure. Unless you're doing like just a ridiculous amount of ad spend on a ton of different channels, I would not look any further past this. So inside Hyros, there are a few things that I like to keep tabs on at all times. So I like to look at, for every single deal that's coming in, everyone who's paying my clients on a monthly basis, I want to look at first click attribution, just to see where people are initially coming in. So let's say a a client closes for, one of these businesses, are they coming in off Facebook ads? Are they coming in off YouTube ads? Maybe they're coming in off of IG organic. Where did they initially enter your client's ecosystem? That's first click. Next, look at customer journey. So this is super important for understanding how your customers buy. Like just having really clear understanding of what it is, like what the journey should look like to get them to buy is super important in my opinion. A lot of times where this goes wrong, to give you an example, let's say you have a substantial amount of people coming in. VSL is solid. They're getting on the call. They're not closing on that first call because maybe it's a super high price point, whatever it is. And then there's a major drop off from your sales team. Maybe the follow up process is just not very good. Whatever it is, you can see like drop offs in the customer journey through Hyros. So you want to keep tabs on that. Super key, helps to really just insert profit in the business, in my opinion. Know where your gaps are, plug those gaps. And lastly, so last click, this is ultimately where I make the most of my decisions off of. Last click for me, that's kind of like the ultimate decision maker in my opinion. So that's essentially where is the last place these people clicked before they bought. As a fractional CMO, this can get a little bit tricky sometimes, especially when you're managing a team and everyone's kind of, you always have people on the team who are fighting for attribution. Let's say the media buyers want to attribute a deal because they came in off an ad and then they clicked an email that same day and bought. Who gets the attribution? In my opinion, email guy, but that's, not really important to this video, I'd say. But knowing what is the last place they clicked before they bought, that helps you to just understand which channels are contributing the most deals. So super key. Get Hyros, understand those three things. And lastly, the easiest, another super easy thing to do is you want to have your VA like cross-reference all of this data. So they need to be running reports on every single one of these clients who are closing, look through the customer journeys, make sure that everything checks out. A lot of people will do this, like set up custom spreadsheets on the side so you can cross-reference. Or let's say you're using like HubSpot, for example, you can do HubSpot data reports, cross-reference HubSpot with Hyros. Whatever it is, just have your VA look at the various channels, cross-reference it, and then any discrepancies, you should probably look into those yourself, just so you have a really clear idea of attribution. So that's all I got for this video here. I can tell you for a fact from working with a lot of really high-level people, like people who are making, $40-50 million a year in their business, that a lot of these people, like their CMOs, spend a substantial amount of time doing stuff like this, looking through customer journeys, looking at the data, looking and seeing like what's actually driving revenue, because they have a very good understanding of lead indicators and lag indicators. They know what to do, what levers to pull in order to get the results they want. If you can learn how to do that in your own business, super important. So that is it for this video. If you have any questions, any thoughts, drop them in the comments below.